Let me ask you something that's starting to get traction, and it's also starting to get polarizing, even though we don't really have any information to motivate true understanding yet. Now, I'm talking about the Nolan Wells investigation.
Got it.
I have been on it from jump, and the impetus for me was that I understood why the family felt that the initial word from the investigators that there's no foul play. I understand the sensitivity given the other components of this, where it was, who this is, how quick that answer came before they really had any kind of sense of context. But the immediate pushback was, oh, Ben Crump, Al Sharpton, here they go, making it racial when there's no proof of that. Why has this resonated where other cases hasn't?
Well, it resonates particularly in the black community because in the year 2026, we find ourselves sensing and being highly suspicious of vicious circumstances. There was a black dude who was the only black dude in attendance, and he's the only person, the human being, that didn't come home alive. Something's wrong with that picture. And the people that were there with him have no answers. Something is highly suspicious about that. Now, it would be irresponsible to accuse folks of murder or to accuse folks of criminal behavior that lent itself towards this kid being killed. But the bottom line is that if you sent your son out and they go on a boat trip with these guys and he's the only one that doesn't come back alive and he's the only black individual that was there, you better believe that the black community is going to be up in arms as well as we should be, because that is highly suspicious. It's not just that he's deceased, that he's gone. It's that there's no explanation. Nobody knows anything. Well, he was with you. Listen, you're a dad. I'm a dad. We send our children out. And first of all, regardless of what ethnicity, regardless of what color we're talking about here, we send our children out, and you're the only one that doesn't come home alive. I'll be damned if the Chris Cuomo that I know doesn't want answers and doesn't expect answers. You know me, and I'm going to push for answers. So for no one to have answers as to what happens is when the suspicion elevates exponentially.
So even Stephen A. Snitch is coming out on stage left to give his opinion. So he's doing an interview with News Nation with Cuomo, and he's talking his talk. Now the thing is, I don't like Stephen A. Snitch, but even a raccoon at some point may come to his senses. And like he said, 3 guys go out on the boat, 4 guys go out on the boat. 3 of them W, 1 black, they don't come home, right? And he wanted to say, well, if it was the other way around, we would know how this go, right? So he challenged Cuomo. He said, you a father. If your son didn't come back, you would go to the end of the earth trying to find out what happened to your son. So we're not trying to hear that. They have every right to have a thorough investigation. They have every right to have an independent investigation. They have every right to handle it in the manner in which they want to handle it until they find out what happened to their son, right? Well, now we know that Brandon Tatum is out there, and he flew down there to Mississippi to do an interview with the W folks, right? Now, he has a problem with the family doing an independent investigation. He has a problem with them not trusting the police and having an independent autopsy. He has a problem with all these things, and whatever the W folks say is right. So he went down there and interviewed, supposed to be one of the friends that was there, one of the friends, and whatever they say is correct, whatever the family or anybody else say is wrong, they have the truth, right? As if people don't lie, as if he don't care nothing about the history of Mississippi. This guy is the ultimate problem, man, the ultimate problem.
Let's say something real quick. Benjamin Crump should be ashamed of himself. Al Sharpton should be ashamed of themselves. I'm right here in Mississippi. It's crazy that I had to fly down here to even get this information. They've been lying on these boys. I got evidence, and I'm going to show it to you, and I'm going to lay it out for you. It is a shame that boy Nolan did not get the respect that he deserved. In my opinion, they turned his death into a racial thing, destroying the community. You name it, they did it. And we got evidence that it wasn't just 4 boys with him. We got evidence that they asked Nolan to get back on the boat, and he refused to because he grown. We got evidence that the boys reached out to the parents, that Benjamin Crump and them didn't refuse to reach out to these boys And I've talked to him. I've seen the evidence with my own eyes. I've seen that there was more than just 4 people. There was 3 boats full of kids. I know that they left and they had nothing to do with this. And instead of them saying and standing up for these boys and saying, look, we don't know what happened. We want justice for Nolan. These boys didn't have no involvement. Instead, they want to make it about race. And it is a shame. And I'm so heated, man. I went out to Horn Island. We got all the video. We got the interviews. The boys wanted to talk to me because I'm the only one there to give them a voice, because everybody else is fake, fraudulent, looking out for themselves. And it's a shame, man.
Now, this guy's the ultimate fraud because he's claiming that he's the only outlet that they have. He's the only person that will come and interview, these people, as if Fox News don't want to talk to him, MSNBC, all these other outlets would have talked. TMZ, they would have talked to him. They talk to you because you are a tiptoeing through the tulip, buck dancing. You know who you are, right? And they know that you're going to give them a softball question. But Fox News would have ran down there to interview him. They interviewed you because you black. And they can say, see, we have black people on our side. There's black people that don't agree with this narrative. They run like they like to run this psychological thing about let's not make it about race, when we know in this country everything is about race. We didn't create that. It's funny how W folks saying let's not make it about race when they created the race construct in this country and made everything about race. Now all of a sudden, y'all don't want to make things about race and we supposed to just go with it? When hasn't things been about race in this country? Man, and then you get a bunch of sellouts that go with that. So let's look at the interview.
Nolan, I could describe Nolan in a million ways. I mean, Nolan was not just a best friend of me, but he was a brother. I grew up through elementary, middle school, high school, and even our freshman year of college. We talked on the phone all the time. We were really close friends. And Nolan was like a brother to me. And Nolan lit up every room he walked in. He always had a smile on his face. He always had something good to say. I've never seen Nolan get in an argument with somebody and say bad things about someone. There's a lot of people that talk crap nowadays, and Nolan was never that person. Sweetest soul ever. And I had a great relationship with Nolan. I've never got in an argument with Nolan. We were super close, and I've never said or will ever have anything bad to say about Nolan Wells.
Yeah, and you guys, you said you kind of grew up together. Mm-hmm. Did you know his mom, or how was that? Because I saw in the media where it appears that she may have said, at least I saw in part, that she said as if she didn't know any of you guys.
Right. Well, Nolan, a lot of the times was at like my house and at my buddy's house. We never went to Nolan's house and hung out. And my friend group's very, very tight knit. We hang out every day when we're back home from school. In high school, we hung out most weekdays and every day on the weekend. And we were never at Nolan's house, which, there's nothing wrong with that. But
now, I was born tonight, but it wasn't last night. So now this idiot is claiming they was best friends, and they was friends for multiple years, and even throughout the college years. So now I run a program, Urban Nerves, right? I know a lot of kids. I pick up kids. I take them on trips. I drop them all. Kids at my house playing video games. My son goes over certain, maybe 1 or 2 kids. I might let him go over the house, right? So now you say that you was his best friend. And his mother don't know you. Now remember, he was this good kid. You never seen him argue, all this. So that means he come from a tight-knit, close family, right? That's what that means. And you gonna sit here and tell me that you never met his mother. You was never at his house like that, right? Nah, man. And you see the way the parents now is going to the end of the earth to find out what happened. See, I was born tonight, but it wasn't last night. You can pull that small-time stuff on somebody else. Right? Now, Brandon Tatum will go, because Brandon Tatum don't care nothing about that black boy. Show me any interviews where Brandon Tatum went to help out a black family when their family was unalive, even if it was about somebody black. Show me when Brandon Tatum ever did that. No, he's not. Brandon Tatum is an ultimate bootlicker and ass kisser. He's not a Christian. He don't care nothing about nobody, because if he did, he would care something about all groups of people. And he would do this, what he's doing, for all groups of people. That's what he would do. He's doing this because he got his hat down. He got his hat down right here, and he's shucking and jiving. That's what he's doing, right? But in this interview, they say they have this exclusive footage of them all leaving on the boat. We already knew that. That's something, you ain't telling us nothing that we don't know. We want to know how he ended up in that water. And in the autopsy, why was all those organs in the throat and everything else missing?
Onto the boat, and they took 3 boats out. It wasn't just one. It wasn't just Nolan and 4 boys. It was a multitude of people on several different boats, and some of the boys that they're accusing wasn't even on the boat that Nolan was on. But let me show you from the vantage point where I have the video to prove that I'm here where I say I am. And so right now, here's the angle that you're gonna see on the footage. It's just from probably that boat to, maybe about 30, 40 feet here to the right. And this is where the video is showing how many people were actually out there, actually getting on the boats. So therefore it debunks very clearly that it was only Nolan and 4 boys.
And we can see the clear lies, right? And a lot of those lies are just debunked, right? But again, this dude doesn't care nothing about the family. As a Christian, he should have just been looking at both the evidence, and he should never part his lips to tell the family that they can have an independent investigation to do or investigate the way that they see fit. Why would he ever go out there and part his lips to do something like that? But he doesn't care. Now, the thing is this. We know that he went out there on that boat. It was 4th of July. It might have been a bunch of people out there. That's beside the point. He didn't come back with them. They tried to put it on Katie. Katie said, man, no, we just seen each other in passing. He was with them. They came back with his cell phone. They had his keys. They had all these different things. But guess what they didn't have? They didn't have him. And nobody's talking. Somebody knows something, right? But it gets real tricky because they're not done.
And that was the last time I laid eyes on him. But when we were leaving, obviously, no one is getting left at the island that came with us unless they demanded to, be there and asked, this is a very common thing at Horn Island. When you're out there, a lot of people ride out there with someone and in with somebody else all the time. I've done that 100 times. It's a very common thing, but Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues. And no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else. And it's not uncommon to hear, but it's not like my buddy asked him one time. My buddy asked Nolan multiple times to get on the boat. Nolan, get on the boat. Get on the boat. We're leaving. If you're coming, you got to come now. And Nolan made a decision to stay out on the island. And like he said,
how many people heard that? Were there just
at least
just a
5
few, or?
Everyone that was on our boat right there, because the Palm Beach had already left. My buddy went ahead and went home on the Palm Beach, and 3 guys on the way back. And Nolan wasn't the only person to ride out there with us and in with somebody else. We had multiple people in our group that rode out with us and rode in on someone else's boat. And that, like I said, that's not an uncommon thing to do, a lot of people do that. I could name probably 50 people out there that day that ran out with somebody and ran back in with somebody else.
And see, now it's going to come down to the situation with Katie, because he's implicating and putting her in it and saying that we had this whole conversation in front of her. She told the family something different, and she also text was already explained, don't need to be understood. I didn't really even know him like that, right? That's what they're saying. So there's a whole lot of stories where you implicating her dad. There's a whole bunch of things that's coming into play here, right? We got the GPS, where the GPS got that boat moving in different places at different times. So there's more coming out, man. And I just think that he incriminated himself even more during his interview with this dude, because everybody know that Brandon Tatum is slow. We're not fooled, right? But now I'm interested to see Katie's response in regards to this, and see if they're going to lawyer up. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.